Welcome to Stateline New South Wales. I'm Quentin Dempster. It is now exactly 4 months to the state election. Tomorrow, all eyes will be on Victoria's, in particular what voters there now think of brand Labor, with the Brumby government defending its majority against concerted attacks by the Greens and the Liberals. In New South Wales, as we've been reporting, the Keneally government seems to be trying to rebuild its base with more progressive policies like same-sex adoption and ethics classes in state schools. Next week, the government will legislate to enshrine ethics classes in the Education Act, after the Coalition announced it would scrap them if elected next March. But this calculated manoeuvring may not save two of Labor's best and brightest. Deputy Premier Carmel Tebbit and Education Minister Verity Firth are facing a battle for their political lives as the Greens try to take their seats in the lower house. While many other sitting Labor MPs will be hard-pressed fending off strong challenges from newly endorsed Liberals and Nationals candidates, the members for the inner Western Sydney seats of Marrickville and Balmain are being targeted by the Greens. Ministers Tebbit and Firth now admit that they face a struggle to remain in Parliament. Nick Grimm reports.
In Sydney's inner west, voters are about to cop a green deluge. Here, the New South Wales Greens are on the march, and they feel momentum is on their side.
Some information about the Greens. State election in March next year.
They're pressing the flesh, they're letterboxing, and they're coming straight to voters' doors.
Hello there, I'm Fiona Byrne, I'm the Mayor of Marrickville.
I'm Cameron Davis.
I'm also the Greens candidate for the upcoming state election. It's our communities who are actually turning to us. They're hearing our message, and it happens to be that the message is getting through in Balmain and Marrickville.
Fiona Byrne hopes that come election night in March next year, she'll be the new MP for the state seat of Marrickville. Just across the border in the neighbouring seat of Balmain, there's another Greens party hopeful planning to do the same. Like Fiona Byrne, Jamie Parker is a local council mayor, in his case with Leichhardt Council.
I think we're standing on our record, and it seems to me that if we come close to our local government result, we should be able to come very close to winning the seat of Balmain.
The fact of the matter is, Marrickville and Balmain look like giving the Greens their best chance yet of finally claiming seats in Parliament's lower house, the Legislative Assembly. If they succeed, it will be at the expense of two of the Keneally government's highest profile and most popular ministers.
I want to thank you for the invitation to come and open up this event.
In Marrickville, Deputy Premier Carmel Tebbit will lose her seat if there's a swing against her of more than 7.5%. In Balmain, Jamie Parker needs a swing of just half that magnitude to unseat Education Minister Verity Firth.
And you all live in Glebe? Yeah.
Yes, that's right. It's about 3.7% margin between Greens and Labor, and the decision voters in Balmain will make will be between the Labor Party and the Greens. And we're hoping people will be supporting us in March.
You're facing a big challenge from the Greens. You're wearing a green shirt, I notice. Are you trying to blend in?
Yeah. I love our area. I've lived for 25 years in Glebe. I think that most of the people that live in our area are very similar to me. It's an area where people are quite committed to a fairer society, to a more just society, to the issues that social progressives are interested in. And my job, I think, is to talk to them and to tell them and explain to them why a vote for the Labor Party will help them achieve those aims.
Balmain is one of those electorates that's undergone massive demographic change. Made up of once blue-collar suburbs, the electorate's residents now tend to be increasingly affluent, tertiary educated and progressive in their political and social outlook. All that makes it a heartland for the New South Wales Greens.
They seem to have a finger on the pulse of the community a bit more so than with the other political parties.
At last weekend's Glebe Street Fair, anti-Labor government sentiment wasn't hard to find.
I just think it's a real pity what's happened to the Labor Party in New South Wales.
Why is that?
Because I'm a Labor voter and it's very difficult to vote Labor today. So it's just a shame that so much time was wasted and so much opportunity was wasted over the years.
Will you change your vote at the next election?
And it's a good question. I'm really not sure. I don't know yet.
Personally, it can't be Labor because they've destroyed the state for so many years now. I would go Liberal because I guess it's voting for the lesser of two evils, but it's probably a better option. And I would go with Greens, but, Greens give their votes to Labor, so it's a bit pointless.
It's generally agreed that if anything can hold up Labor's primary vote in Balmain, it'll be Verity Firth's strong personal standing in the electorate. It's not lost on the MP that where she sits on the political spectrum isn't that far away from her Green rival's position.
I think that's probably true, which is sort of an irony in lots of ways. I think that is an irony. I'm definitely an environmentalist. I definitely believe in climate change, and I believe that action is urgent and necessary and that government should be taking that action.
Well, I get along very well with Verity. We've known each other for many years. The problem is that all the decisions that have come our way, whether it's light rail or whether it's defending Callan Park from overdevelopment, have been on the basis of a huge campaign against the state government. And that's the problem that Verity has, is that being locked into the cabinet and into the caucus means she can't speak out about issues which are important to the local community.
Cross the electoral boundary into Marrickville, and Carmel Tebbit is another member of the ALP left at risk of copping the brunt of community anger with the Labor government. The seat of Marrickville isn't as gentrified as Balmain, but it's well on its way. In Newtown, the Greens can poll 50% of the primary vote, the party's strongest urban vote in Australia.
Oh, look, I've always acknowledged that it's going to be a tough election, and there's no doubt some challenging times between now and March, but at the same time we have a strong record of achievement. We've got a plan for the future, and the people of New South Wales will be best served by a government and by local members who are focused on real achievements that matter, that make a difference in people's lives.
So the ticket facilities will be here.
But if the member for Marrickville is ready to stand on her government's record, her opponent argues she should be held to account for it as well.
Yeah, look, I think Carmel is well known in the area, and certainly I think, being a very high-profile person, she's in a leadership role in this state Labor government. So I think she also needs to be held accountable for some of the decisions that are made by the state Labor government.
Preferences may yet prove crucial to the outcome in Marrickville and Balmain. In New South Wales, preferential voting is optional, but some voters are keen to see the coalition encourage its supporters to throw theirs towards the Greens contenders.
I think it's probably a good idea for them to do that, and if the Greens were smart, they'd probably be looking to do that because it'll give themselves a little bit more influence when it comes to the big issues, so that makes sense.
But of course the opposition may have other ideas, and in this weekend's Victorian state election, the coalition is directing its preferences to Labor in inner-city electorates in a bid to keep Greens candidates from winning seats.
We're used to Labor and Liberal working together, and our objective, as we've done on the council, is to win outright with our own votes, with people voting one for the Greens.
I think it's the lack of trust. I think there's a lack of trust in the state government and the decisions they've been making, that they just don't trust that they will deliver on any promise that they make, or that they can actually make any promises that people will take with any credence. But I don't think they trust the Liberal Party either. I don't think they trust the opposition. They're not sure what the opposition stands for at this point in time.
But the Deputy Premier argues that politically the Greens are a voice in the wilderness, unable to back words with actions and incapable of meeting the needs of voters in their electorate.
What they really rely on are the services that governments deliver. Good public education, good transport services, investing in our health system, and that's what we've done as a government. And
are you saying the Greens wouldn't be able to deliver on those things?
Well, the Greens can never be in government, so they can never deliver those sorts of outcomes. A vote for the Greens is really a protest vote.
But the problem for Carmel Tebbit and Verity Firth is that present trends indicate a coalition landslide on March 26. But if that doesn't eventuate, the Greens and Independents still have a better chance of holding the balance of power than Labor has of retaining control of the Parliament itself.
Well, I know a lot of Labor Party people. I work with them. I meet them on the street and in the shopping centre. And there is a strong view that Labor needs to have a huge clean out. that there needs to be regeneration. The best way to improve the Labor Party is to give it some time out of office so it can think about its future and reassert a positive direction.
Our party in New South Wales is in a process of renewal. There'll be a lot of turnover at the next election, and I would like to be part of that renewal process. It is
rather than part of the turnover.
That's exactly right. So again, I'll just be talking to my electorate and hoping that they give me that opportunity to be a part of that renewal process.